My name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch, I'm an author and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. And about 2 seconds before we started filming this, Noah came in, shook his head and covered me with slobber. Never mind, on we go. Today's little chat is about celebrating using a candle. Now this follows on from a slightly earlier chat, but what it's about is how can we break celebrations down into something really simple. And I was thinking to myself, well, most celebrations are about light. Light coming, light going, full light of the summer solstice, things like that. So actually it's not a bad idea to use a candle. Tea light if you want. I've got two here, nice chunky sort here, and the bigger one here in a very old-fashioned candlestick, which is unfortunately covered in dust. I asked Mr. Penry to put it out. Yes, of course I will, he said. And he didn't dust it, and it's covered in dust and dog food. So if I start sneezing, you'll know why. That actually is Homer sneezing. Right, okay. So, how can we use, at its simplest, a candle? You see, what you have to remember is that the idea of an altar, a sacred area, has a focus. And the actual meaning of focus, it's a Latin word that means a hearth. So you see, to have the focus of your ritual, your celebrations, as a flame, and that's no Homer too. You haven't seen Homer yet. He's very shy, but he doesn't half make a racket sometimes. So let's start by going through the year. First one, Imbolc, Candlemas. Now, if you stop and you think about it, the church took it over and turned it into Candlemas, where people had their candles blessed. It's a perfect festival for celebrating with a candle. If you celebrate it according to the coming of Saint Brede or some maiden goddess, whatever you prefer, she is the bearer, she will be the future bearer of the god. She's a maiden at the moment, but she's the future bearer of the sun god. And so we're having a candle as the symbol of the light that she brings. Because bearing in mind that February, when we celebrate these festivals, very dark, very cold in the northern hemisphere, having a candle for it, I think is beautiful. Just have your candle, that's it, that reminds you of the light that is to come. And then if we move on and we move to the spring equinox, equal night, equal day, which is what it means. You could do a part of your celebration, your meditation, invocation, whatever you want to do, a little spot of silent reading. You could have a candle for half of it to celebrate the light side and blow it out, and that celebrates the dark side. So that's quite nice really, a nice little way of bringing the candle into your celebration, even if you can't do anything else. And then we moved to Beltane. Well, Beltane was very much a fire festival. The Beltane bonfires, you know, well, all right, we can't all get to a bonfire. Every time Mr. Penry used to build a bonfire where we used to live, when the children were small, we used to have the fire brigade called out by a neighbour who couldn't stand us. Got to be quite embarrassing in the end. We used to invite them in for a cup of tea. But yes, it's a very good one to have this. And what I would do for something like Beltane is I'd put a few little flowers around it. In fact, you can buy these artificial flower circlets which stand around a candle. And to make them a little bit more in keeping with the season, maybe add a few real flowers to it, or even put a flower in a pot near it. It all looks nice, it doesn't draw attention, and it's not going to break the bank in terms of energy. Because you see, when we're on our own and we're celebrating, it's very lonely, it's very difficult to celebrate. You can't really have a party by yourself. And this is what we are trying to do. And then the next one, Litha, Midsummer. Well, that's a great fire festival as well. Very much the midsummer solstice bonfires. Again, have your candle burning all the time. I mean, if you can have a tea light and have it burning most of the day, as long as you're with it, and you take the necessary safety precautions, why not? And if you can't be with it all the time, well, just blow it out when you have to and relight it again when you come back in. It's simple. Sorry I sound a bit croaky today. I'm getting over the tail end of a very bad cold. Very much the same goes for Lammas. It's the start of August. Some people celebrate a little bit later as Lunasa. Lu was one of the Celtic sun gods. So again you see that the symbol of the flame, the height of the harvest, the sun ripening the corn or the wheat or whatever it is. We have this imagery, and the candle helps us to recognise it. It helps us to focus on it. Going back to that word focus again, you see the hearth. That's what it's meant to be. And then we have Samhain, which at the time of recording this has just gone past. Well, of course, Samhain is slightly different because that's a time when many pagans believe that the sun god has finally died. So why do we have a fire at Samhain? Well, we're not completely lost. We do have the Dark Lord, and we need this Dark Lord, the Holy King, because we can't have everything in full pelt all the time. Nature needs its time to rest. Nature needs its time to be quiet. I think we've got a little visitor. Hello, Noah. Hello. Oh, I don't know where he's going. So, traditionally, people would celebrate with swede lanterns, turnip lanterns. Not so much pumpkins. We didn't really grow them over here. I don't remember them when I was a girl. And the ancient Egyptians celebrated with onions. Not that they carved faces in them, but they believed that onions, which lived half in the earth and half out, celebrated the return, if you like, of life, of spirit, to the dead person. And of course, Samhain is a festival where we remember and honour the ancestors. So the idea of having a light to guide them, to bring them to us, or a light to show that we remember, it's all about up here. It's not about how much you spend. It's not about how many things you can buy. It's not about how many prayers or spells you cast. It's what goes on up here. And then, of course, we come to Yule. And Yule is a wonderful time for using candles anyway. Everybody's using them in some shape or form, even if they're the little battery-operated ones. It still brings a light. It's the pinpoint of light, the light of the Sun King reborn at the winter solstice, We've finally sort of come down to the lowest point, the point when the dark is at its greatest, and then it turns. And we have the solstice, and that's the symbol. I say, oh crumbs, I'll get it right in a minute, won't I? Tell I've been ill. That's the symbolism of the candles and the flame. It's that little pinpoint of light. So perhaps use a small candle for that. And then much bigger ones as you go through the year, or whatever you prefer. But these are just little ideas how you can celebrate, how you can get this mentality that you can celebrate, you don't have to do a lot. In fact, several of my talks in this little batch have been about doing our best and not doing too much, because some of us can't. So there we are. I hope I've left you with a little bit of food for thought, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful Wheel of the Year full of festivals ahead. Thank you.